Hello all, sorry for the slightly late start, but various technical issues and checking whether players were coming or not. We're down a couple due to illness and technical issues and scheduling and so on, but we have 3 players, which I always say is the minimum to play. So we're going to press on. I guess Caesora's the ranking person, the leader now.
About time too. About time too.
Right. So, quick recap. Milano set them up again with another contact of his, who is investigating ruins in the Tashim lands where the Crusades were fought, and most of our characters fought or aided in some way in the Crusades. So it's been a little bit tense coming back here, and they were attacked by bandits, ex-soldiers, something. They certainly seem to hate this lot, and particularly to have it in for Cyril Lane, who for some reason is not here today, but will manage. And after they made their way through the desert, they had arrived at this half-buried temple. So we'd stopped when they were just outside, so we'll start from there. Okay, there's patches of paving showing through the sand here and there. The pyramid doesn't appear to be a full pyramid, but rather a sort of lopped-off trapezoid pyramid. And parts of it extend out of the sand on one side, but the rest of it is all buried. There's a gigantic stone face above the tunnel that seems to grant entry. Its eyes glitter sky blue in the sunlight, are almost too dazzling to look at. Just to one side of the pyramid entrance, there is a small oasis, barely more than a puddle, it seems like. And there's a few stunted, sickly-looking palm trees and other plants sort of clustering around what little moisture there is there. So this is what you're faced with. The tunnel entrance, the gigantic stone head set above it, and the sludgy, horrible-looking oasis to one side.
You said there were little offshoots on the sides that were buried?
There's patches of like flagstones and tiles, like there used to be roads or streets surrounding this place. And here and there where the sand is thinned out, you can see patches of those sticking out. There's the odd bit of ruin as well here and there, like a column sticking up out of the sand at a crazy angle. Broken bits of worked stone.
Basically like the Epstein estate.
Yeah, but more ruined.
So it's like
And probably not quite as evil either.
So it's like Never Neverland, just a shadow that's formed itself.
Well, you know, you're in an Egypt equivalent sort of area, so I guess Michael Jackson kind of looked like a mummy at the end, so it seems more appropriate.
Yeah.
If you win that round.
Thank you. House J wins. Right. Even though I don't have any of the tracking abilities, Grim, I'm going to have a look around to see if there's been any activity here for us and our old friends who we put to the blade.
Okay, it doesn't look... You've just got the tracking ability. I won't bother making you roll for it. But no, it doesn't look like there's been any recent activity around here, other than a couple of animal trails around the oasis. But it's a little bit weird, because they must be pretty recent, these tracks, or the wind will have covered them with sand. But they only go to the pool and don't go away from it.
How deep does the pool look?
Okay, so you meander over closer to it. It's maybe a couple of meters deep at its deepest part. You estimate. It's a bit hard to tell because, you know, fluid distorts the light and it's pretty murky, so you can't actually see that deep into it. But you can make out a sort of shallow dip running down into the pool, and you guess that it's no more than a couple of meters deep at the deepest part.
I'll head back and say,
Are there rocks?
Sorry, what?
Are there rocks nearby?
Yeah, there's a few rocks around there.
Okay, I'll take a rock, or even better, like a little bit of loose flagstone if I can find it.
Yeah.
And I'm not really going to go up to the water's edge. I'm going to be about 5 feet back. I'm sorry, 2 meters back, and and um, and toss the flagstone in.
Oops.
See if I can get an estimation.
What
What am I really trying to do here? I want to sound this thing out, but I'm not willing to lose a rope. I'm not.
Yeah.
I just want to see if anything happens for now.
Okay, 1 second.
Just when I thought we could get away from water.
All right, you pick up one of the smaller segments of flagstone and toss it into the oasis. At first, there's a splash, like there's a layer of water on top, but that seems to be on top of something thicker. So it's a splash, but then it's followed by a gloop, and you can see the stone slowly dropping through the pool, rather than dropping as it should through water.
I've got a funny feeling that's oil.
Can you roll a d20 under your perception, please, Jared, for Yannick?
Sure thing. That's a fail.
Okay. It's the murk eased a little bit for a moment, and you could see a bit deeper into the pool, and you think that sort of 2-meter estimate is about right. There were some animal bones on the bottom of the pool.
I'll step away.
Two meters. What's that in the feet, Grim? 2 meters. What's that in the feet?
Something over 6 feet. Probably about 7 feet, 8 feet.
Right. Okay.
I wonder how far away are we from the raiders who harassed us earlier? Are we kilometers away from them?
Probably no more than a mile or maybe 2.
Oh, okay, still okay. If they were very nearby, I wasn't quite sure how close we were. I'd forgotten. I was going to recommend maybe chucking a bit of them in there to see if there's something hidden in the deeps, in the depths. I mean, because
it would be a long way to go for a corpse that's
Yeah,
probably already been eaten by scavengers.
Now,
you said there was a trail from the ruins to the oasis, but not back. Is that
No,
correct?
but there were animal trails up to the oasis, but not away from the oasis.
Okay, animal trails. Sorry, Jared. Go ahead.
no, not to rehash this. Can you explain again? You said it didn't quite sound as I was expecting it to.
Yeah, so at first there was a splash of water, but it was like a very, very sort of shallow layer of water on top of a thicker substance. And as the flagstone went deeper, the sound deepened. So it sort of went splish and then gloop. And you saw it drop through whatever it is in that oasis puddle a lot more slowly than it would have through water, you think.
Oh, I understand. Okay, so it's not like there's. All right, so a reasonable conclusion from this is not that this is a whole alternative entrance into the labyrinth, so much as that there's some kind of heavy substance at the bottom. It wouldn't be oil, but it could be like gel or something like that.
Yeah.
Presumably that animals are getting trapped in when they drink water. So, I mean, does anyone... I have no idea what kind of substance this could be, but, I mean, if it's not likely to explode, it might be fun to dig some up. Does anybody have anything like a shovel, or do I have to fashion one out of available materials, which is always fun?
I don't think anyone has a shovel. You'd probably have to figure one out.
Okay, I could think of one option.
May I interject? Grim, I would suspect that when we were asking to be kitted out back in the town and so on, wouldn't something like a shovel or a spade in a desert environment kind of be par for the course in case there's a sandstorm?
In case you're tomb raiding, make an intelligence roll to see whether it occurred to you before you left.
Well, not us, but our hirelings and so on. But yes, okay, I will. Nope, 19. I was too busy drinking.
All right, so you guys can evaluate this plan based off of Grimm's mercilessness. But if you tie a rope to me, or to my legs or whatever, and I took my shield and just went in head first and tried to scoop stuff up from the bottom. That's one possible way to do it. Actually, from the sound, I mean, do I have any estimation? The second liquid, we'll call it that, though I don't really know. The second liquid, do I have an estimation how far down it is?
You think it's maybe only 3, 4, maybe 5 inches of water on top of this thicker substance?
Okay, great. Yeah, so I don't even so that's enough that I can just get on my belly and try to scoop some up with my shield, whatever it might be. It'll be sloppy, but it'll at least get us some information.
Yep.
All right, so I'll tie I presume I have a rope. Who leaves the house without a rope? Someone's got a rope, right?
Yeah, most people have. I think several of you should have rope on your sheets, or it'll be on your mules. Rope is something you wouldn't have forgotten.
Right. All right, so anyway, I'll tie the rope around myself with a nice sturdy knot, and I'll hand it to, I don't know, whichever one of you is stronger. And Captain Magic was about to look at a spell here for a second, so.
Okay.
John, were you about to...
Yes, I'm still perusing. I like your idea. I'm just getting ready for a bit of backup, that's all.
Fair enough. All right.
Just, no reason, just asking, but what's Yannick's reflexes? You've gone quiet. Are you muted?
Yannick's reflexes, for no particular reason, are 10.
Yeah, 10. Okay. Okay, so rope around your middle. The other guys are going to hold on to it, or are you not going to bother with the rope? You're muted again.
You know what's fun? You know what? This is great. I managed to make a screaming eardrum piercer and be mute. I've done everything wrong. No, we're definitely going to bother with the rope. I'm just giving John a second to put together a spell.
I'll be a little bit longer. I think I'm shifting now from detection more to getting ready, and I suspect that in the end of things, this is just going to turn out to be a hole, and Grimm's going to shake his head. But we should definitely have the other end anchored to our wagon, so it can't be, rather than people who could go in after it. Yeah. The wagon, or the camel or horses. We have a couple of war horses still. Yes. No, we traded them for supplies.
You still have your own.
Anyway.
Well, no, I guess Elaine's not here, so yeah. But you've got regular horses, and you've got mules, and you've got the wagon. So you can tie it off to the wagon and wedge a couple of stones under the wheels so it doesn't roll off.
Absolutely. A great idea. Thank you for adding that. That's really smart.
Okay. Well, your character's smart, so,
Not so much me.
All right, so if our preparations are concluded, I'm going to go for it. I'm going to be on my belly for maximum weight control.
Yeah.
And just kind of inch forward and just inch and slide the shield down in as I go. I'm only going to try to scoop up 2 or 3 inches of whatever this deeper other liquid is.
Yeah.
And then just kind of awkwardly pull it back like an awkward panhandle.
The water smells bad, not like sewage, just kind of rotten smell, and there's little colonies of mold sort of floating on the surface of the water. You get your shield, you dig it under the water surface, and hit the gooey substance underneath. The moment you do that, the whole pool seems to pulse, and a wave splashes out to the edge, and immediately whatever it is beneath the surface surges up around the shield, almost like it's trying to grab you and absorb you, and yeah. You're taken by surprise, but what is your defense?
My defense is 6.
And what's your evasion?
My evasion is 3.
Okay, remarkably, you're really quick on your feet. The moment you strike it, you sense something is off, and you scramble back as fast as you can. and this sort of tidal wave of purplish goo smacks into the sand where you just were. And when it doesn't hit you, dozens of little eyes appear all over its surface, looking in all directions, trying to pinpoint you.
Do I still have my shield?
You still have your shield.
Goody.
Right, normal initiative. What is Keridan's reflexes, actually? Forgot to get that. John?
Yes, 10 is the number 10.
Okay. Right, Caesura.
So it's basically came on shore and I see all these eyes.
Yep. A great big blob of purplish goo. So, what's a mimic oasis? Would you call it a blur?
No, you'd call it a mimic. You'd call it what's the word? A mirage.
I was making a Britpop joke. Never mind.
Yeah, I know.
What do you want to do?
I'd call it a champagne supernova.
Oh God, crap joke night. Here we go. How far away is our wizard friend from the pond?
Well, no more than the length of the rope. So, yeah, you're in range.
Okay, you're gonna hit me for this, guys.
Flashbang.
Yep, indeed.
Okay. Don't need to roll anything. You grab one out of your pouch, and while everyone else shields their eyes, you toss it. So it's a loud bang, bright flash of light, though not as bright as it would normally appear because you're out under the desert sun. All of those eyes immediately close up and sort of dissolve back into the mass to be replaced by dozens more eyes.
Smart little cookie.
Right.
And after I've done that, I will unsheath my short sword of Balda and one of my +1 swords because I'm going to get ready to start parrying again. Because I can't parry with my sword of Baha, which is my main sword.
Yeah. So you're readying your weapons for your other action instead of moving. Okay. You notice that the surface of it is constantly sort of bubbling and blackening and being replaced by new tissue. It wheels away from Yannick and surges across the ground towards Caesura, reaching out with pseudopods with mouths on the end of them. What's Caesura's defense?
11.
You are struck. What's your armor?
3.
Right. It hits into you like a runaway wagon and starts burning at your flesh wherever it gets contact with your bare flesh. Take 12 wounds of damage.
Ah! Fuck people standing there, they call me Wolf.
Wow. That's like, wow.
Yeah.
That's it.
You're high enough level, you've still got some health though, don't you?
I've only got 4 left.
Well, that's some.
Yeah. 6 bowl of brown bread.
Right, Yannick's go. Well, it decided not to go for you, and given what it just did to Caesura, you're pretty glad.
I'd be on the floor. I'd be on the desert floor.
Yeah.
I will spend this turn running away.
Okay. So you scramble up and run. The only cover is the tomb. So yeah, you sprint away from the oasis and up the ancient worn steps in amongst the pillars.
Something like that. I do.
Is it her?
I intend on shooting this thing with my bow next turn if I can.
Okay. Yeah, you can prepare your bow then. So you just cast down your shield and yank out your bow and lodge an arrow in it.
Yeah.
Keridan.
Yeah.
Are my compatriots fully entangled, or are they capable of movement? They can run, I presume, yes?
Caesura could try and run, yeah.
First one. It's always the first one that's the worst.
I'm gonna yell to everyone, run back to camp and get safe. I'm gonna cast a rotting spell on it.
He didn't even, you know what happened?
And then if I can in the same round, I will cast the 4th
This
level
didn't show up.
power disease on it. There's some
Like this all-
video going on somewhere. Is
It's,
that me?
Jared, do you just mind muting when you're not talking? Thanks. Cheers.
Yes, and then if I can't do it in the same round, I'll use that level 4 spell, disease.
Yeah.
It's 15-meter range. I'll try and close within 15. I don't know if I can do all of that in one round. So yell and talk. Sorry,
Yep.
talk and run, and then next round cast.
Yeah, it'll have to be next because you're talking, and you need to talk to be able to cast your spells. So.
Understood. Okay.
Yeah. So, who were the two surviving hirelings? Ubertino and
Semprino and Ubertino, I believe.
Yeah.
One of them is armed with a bow.
Yeah, and the other one usually holds the standard.
Correct. Yes.
Right. Semprino slams the standard down, so anyone fighting close to the standard gets an extra 2 defense.
We have Astrogard here as well, I believe. Yes.
Yeah. Ubertino fires an arrow. It just hits the ooze and sort of instantly dissolves, just leaving the metal arrowhead floating through the goop. Let's see, what can Astrogard do? Where have they hidden his character sheet? Ah, there it is. Boom. Right. Astrogard moves forward, takes a small bottle or jar from his knapsack, rips off the cover of it, and splashes it across the creature. Everywhere that this liquid hits, and you smell this hugely strong stench of eucalyptus. So, yeah, clears your sinuses. But it splashes over this thing and just eats away at its body. It seems more angered, but it is at least hurt. Right, new turn. Caesura.
Is it holding on to me or is it back to?
Well, it's hit into you. Everywhere it touched you, your skin is burning and coming up in ulcers and boils and turning red. And it's kind of stuck to you like stringy cheese on a fresh cooked pizza, but it's not holding you.
Right. I'll leg it towards the temple then.
Okay, so you turn and run.
Yep.
Okay, yeah, the strands of goop sort of snap off you, and you dart between the pillars near to Yannick. One sec, I need to find something. I should really print out some of these things for easier reference. Remind me.
No worries. You have a lot going on, I suspect.
Yeah. I was doing layout today. It always kills my brain.
Back when I was... I understand. I used to do a little bit of copy editing for non-native English speakers who were writing in English academically and whatnot. And it could be extremely trying, the tedium of it.
Yeah. I mean, it's easy, but it's just repetitive, and it's like constant things like bolding or unbolding text or making sure all the indents are the same. And
You also have to kind of fight the urge to be a perfectionist, right?
yeah.
There's a game supplement out called Wolf Packs in Winter Snow. It's an OSR D&D thing. The person who wrote it, they don't they don't put any spaces between their paragraphs, and they don't indent their paragraphs. So it's all one side. It's all chunky and just, oh my God, a basic word processing program would help you with that. But no.
Cannot read. Right.
Give me 5 minutes, Grim. I'm going to come back. I'm just going to make a phone call. Give me a
Okay.
call back in 5 minutes.
Pardon me. Jared, I'm curious. What other kinds of role-playing games have you been into? Are you like a lifelong gamer like many of us?
I suppose so. I started with the Hero Quest board game,
Yeah, there's
Oh yeah.
no coverage
and then
on college.
had basic
services on this
D&D, but never
policy.
played
And I
it,
was
but
like,
always wanted
this
to. Just
scan
didn't
is
have
not
anyone I
covered
could
if
play
it's
with.
for a
Hmm.
lung
And then
cancer
I made
diagnosis.
my
And I was
own
like, "You've gotta be
RPG
kidding.
off and on since I
Coverage
was like
this.
12.
You can't,
And then
you can't cover for oncology.
and then-
like, so the patient like disenrolled from their plan
and then
became
in my
self-pay 'cause
30s, I've played a
they
lot of
were-
Axe.
He was financially okay enough
Yes,
to
and
need
Axe
help from his family. but it was
Adventure
like,
Conqueror King has
what
been
Oh,
maybe
yeah.
the most long running.
what kind of
Okay.
Right.
site?
So
I
the
was like,
blob
"You sure?"
lunges
And I was like,
out
"Are you sure?
towards
Really? Are you sure?"
Ubertino this time,
Then I called this guy. And I was
as
like,
everyone
"I
else
don't
has
know,
fled. Jared, can you mute again,
It's
please?
really weird. And he was like, "Well,
Sorry. Yeah, so it lunges out across the sand, sort of rolling across it with its top surface still burning and pitting and blackening and being regenerated, and lashes out towards Ubertino. But he's learned a couple of things from adventuring with you guys, and he throws himself back in a roll and comes back up on his feet with his bow sideways, ready to fire again. Yannick's go.
I'll cast Silent Warrior. Am I within range? It has a 5-meter range.
yeah,
I think the warrior can also move by itself.
Yeah.
Let me just check.
Okay.
If not, I'll say it can. But I want to see what the proper thing is. Yannick.
I'll look it up for you if you want.
That's okay. It doesn't say, but I'm assuming that you can bring it into being within 5 meters, and then it can move. So yeah, I'm going to allow it. Okay. So you fling out your hand in the gesture. The silent warrior appears out of the desert sand and wind and strikes.
Admittedly, sometimes
Okay.
I
So
forget
attacks
to log in my
18.
phone. Like,
Yes.
I have to log.
Okay.
I rolled an 11.
So, and its defense against him is going to be 6, so that's a hit. So you have to roll to penetrate armor. That's the first dice. That's D10,
I rolled a 7.
and then D10 damage.
That's a 6.
Right. The apparition of the warrior appears and slices off a chunk of the goop from the thing with a hard slash. Lands on the sand and just bubbles and boils away in the sun, leaving the thing slightly smaller than it was before. Right, Kerridan. Unmute.
Yes, I'm getting to it. I was just responding to a message from Jay. He asked me to ask you to call him back.
Okay.
And I will, if I'm within the 15-meter range, then cast Disease, which, and then if I have any ability to move after that or take any defensive action, I'll try and...
Yeah, you can back away
Move
towards
back
the
a wee
pillars. Yep.
And Disease does 2 points of damage every round until dispelled.
Okay. Does it need to beat it on a magical attack roll or anything?
Not that I read, but I will triple check.
Okay.
I'm sorry, double check. I read it twice, but I didn't super check
What
it.
rank spell is it?
It's a rank 4 spell. Disease. A single living being may be afflicted with a rotting disease. Loses 2 health until every round until cured or dead. Masters magical attack versus target's magical defense.
Okay, so what's your magical attack?
Dear Lord, it's gone up. It's 22.
Okay. You have a 50-50 chance, so roll 10 or under. It being quite a magical creature.
Oh, it was already unmuted. 4.
Okay. Right. So you weave the spells out of the air and send a noxious vapor towards the ooze. The vapor meets the ooze and it starts to grow and be covered by that same mold that was floating in the water. Seems to be eating into it and sending tendrils of mycelium into its body.
Nice. Everyone back away. It's going to rot to death.
All right. Ubertino looses another arrow, but misses because he's off balance from his tumbling. Semprino lifts the standard and jogs as best he can while carrying such an unwieldy item towards the pillars. Astrogard reaches into his knapsack and hurls another bottle of eucalyptus oil onto the thing. Right. It's assaulted on all sides by the oil eating into it, the disease eating into it, the sun burning at its delicate, goopy flesh, thrashing around, seeming more and more frenzied and angered, but it is still moving. Caesura.
I was heading towards the temple where Jared is.
Yeah, you ran over to him by the pillars.
Yeah. I feel sore. I feel sore. Let me guess, I've got little bald patches on my armour now.
It's more bleached.
Even though it was Viking fur / leather, and it's now...
Oh, it was magical though, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it looks bleached, but the bleaching is gradually healing on the armour.
But I'm not healing.
You're not
I'm
healing.
but I'm not... Sorry?
You're not healing though.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm not healing, but my armour's healing.
So what do you want to do?
Do I feel any different inside me? Or am I still the same?
Yeah, you feel fine. Well, as much as you can when you're injured like this.
I've never been this injured for a long time. Oh. Is anyone looking around?
The amorphous blob thing is still there. It's still alive.
Yeah, but is anyone looking at me?
No one's looking at you at the moment. They're all watching the thing.
Right. Curiosity killed the cat. I'm going to snap one of these test tubes which you from these Arab guys earlier. Because that made them hide the kite. So I'm going to try it out. One of the test tubes I nicked from one of my marks.
Yeah, okay. Just a sec. I think I put it on your sheet.
This is when Suzu becomes a Assamite.
Not quite.
The thing about the Assamites is they said that they were always high on hashish, hence why the name Assassin came from. Yeah.
Could have sworn I put them on your sheet. Can't see it.
But I did take some.
Yeah, could have sworn I put it down. It'll probably turn up. Right. So regain 7 wounds.
Thank you.
And you go into a wild barbaric frenzy. What's your defense?
11.
What's your attack?
20.
Okay. Out of control, your blood boiling and your vision turning red. You lose control of yourself. You hurtle back out from the pillars and throw yourself at the amorphous blob. Roll d20, get a 19 or under.
2.
Roll to penetrate its armor with an additional +1.
Well, I'm using 2 swords, so I had 2 swords drawn.
Okay, we'll make a second attack. Don't roll a 20.
Okay, so that's 2 attacks and don't get a 20, yeah?
Yeah, you already rolled one, so roll the other one.
4.
Okay. And then roll to penetrate armor twice with an additional +1 on bonus to your armor penetration.
So that's +1, that's 2. Plus that, right. First dice is 7 plus 4, so that is 11.
Okay. I don't think you can fail to get through. Okay, roll damage twice and add 1 additional bonus to the damage you do for each blow.
Okay. First one is 9, and the second one is 8. Plus
Okay.
1 on both them, that's 9 and 19.
Okay. You rip into the thing, tearing and cutting, ripping sections off it, until there's basically nothing left, and you're still frenziedly smashing down at it over and over again with your swords until all of it is burned away or melted into the sand.
Okay. Oh,
It's defeated.
for now.
For now. Can you roll d20 under your magical defense, please?
4.
Okay. You manage to still the frenzy, though it's left you shaking and trembling, and you don't turn on your companions.
What a rush! So that's my health jumps back up to, what did you say? Plus
7,
6.
so you've got 11 health now.
Yeah, I'm back up to. Oh, Jesus H. Oh,
How much
As
more of that do you have around?
There's two
How many
other
tests?
doses, I think.
yeah, I've got 2 other doses. What a rush. Oh,
So, does
I
anyone
have like a
need
really
healing?
dumb question, and it's not something you have to do a lot of digging for. I don't know if you know the answers.
I don't think anyone else was hurt, were they?
it was just me who got suckered to death. Oh,
Yeah. So calm restores itself. The oasis is now a lot shallower, and on the bottom you can see lots and lots of animal bones. Many of them are twisted into weird shapes or have odd nodules and growths growing out of them. There's a weird rainbow oily sheen over most of it. In amongst the bones, there appears to be a scepter of some kind. Bright, sparkly silver and gold.
I'll try my
Too
rope
much.
into
I don't
Lasso.
Sorry, pardon?
I'll tie my rope into a lasso and try and see if I can fish out that way.
Okay. Roll d20 under your reflexes.
2.
Okay. Right. We throw out the rope, loop it around the scepter, jerk it tight, and then pull it out from the bones. It's a silver scepter, about 1.5 feet long. It curves over at the top in a hook, almost like a shepherd's crook, and has a ring on the bottom. It's silver and gold and covered in weird-looking little drawings.
And it
I
should be
reckon-
tarnished, no?
It's not tarnished.
But it should be.
It should be.
I'll look at our friend who's basically got us in the first place and says, what do these pictures say? And I'll show him the scepter.
Okay, he peers very closely at it. Astrogard. It appears to be a sort of ceremonial directing stick. I think tassels were once tied to the bottom, so it would have been used for giving orders and officiating over religious ceremonies, I believe.
Is it worth anything?
Well, in terms of raw materials, it's probably worth a couple of handfuls of gold crowns. To the right collector, could be worth a lot more.
And it's very clearly enchanted in some manner or fashion because it isn't tarnished to the slightest degree.
Perhaps, but perhaps that thing that was squatting here stopped it being tarnished.
Possibly.
If you submerge silver into oil, it won't tarnish.
Exactly. Yeah. I agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah, still, you've earned your first reward, I would say.
Yeah. Don't mess with an assassin.
I must caution you, however, that I'm out of eucalyptus.
Do you have any ideas what that creature actually was, Ashwad?
I believe, though I'm not completely certain, I believe it's a type of demonic entity known as an amorph.
Oh, right, okay.
And it's just hanging about an oasis, or
Well, I mean, it would fit. We know that the entities that were called gods are now considered demons in many cases. So to have a demonic doorkeeper here, it makes sense. And it suggests if something is guarded that there is something valuable within.
Or something far greater than its pet.
Yes.
So, what more can you tell us about this pyramid, temple, blah blah blah?
Not really much more than I already told you.
Why, which god was it built to? Which deity?
Akresh, who is now known as a demon lord in the magical traditions of our homes and further afield. But this should be the tomb of Guthron of Org.
And what was Guthron famous for? Darkness, hunting, manipulation, raping, pillaging?
One sec. Have to remind myself. Guthron was a king, a pure-blooded descendant of the House of Org, and the tribe which originally birthed it, and had worshipped Akresh throughout prehistory, even into recorded history. There should, if this place is untouched, or relatively untouched, be many treasures from those ancient kingdoms, and related to this king and this demonic entity which they gained power from. Of course, demon, god, it's all interchangeable with these heathen nonsenses.
How did he actually die? Did he die of old age, or was he poisoned, or was he overthrown, or...
Yeah, it seems like he just died. That parchment that your friend, the knave, brought seemed to suggest that his priests and his bodyguards and so on were supposed to be buried with him, but one of them turned away at the last minute and escaped, though the desert took him.
Well, if the desert took him, how come any of that parchment actually got out, you know?
Well, that's a good question, but it did seem authentic.
Well, we could have sort of like got someone to write it.
Well, this would have happened 1,000, 1,500 years ago. So, Anyway, the creature's dealt with. Should we dare the entrance?
Can we rest before we go?
Yes. How long for?
How long does it take for me to recover my mana?
You'd have to wait till midnight, and it's still late morning.
What do you say, folks?
how depleted do you feel?
Well, I mean, I'm down to 1 out of 2. I mean,
You should have more, actually. Because you went up a level. You're level 2 now, aren't you?
that is correct.
Right, I must have forgotten to do that. Because they don't put the magic point level up in the same area as the rest of the level up stuff. Because, I don't know, duh. Sorcerers and warlocks. It's not in the character section. And it's not in the actual spells section. It's between the two. Right, you have 4 magic points now, so if you've used 1, you've got 3 left.
Let's press on, and we can maybe scout out the first little section through the tunnel here. And when it seems proper, we'll take a proper rest then, I guess. But we've got lots of daylight to burn, and I'd rather not be in there at night.
You're very aware of the presence of that gigantic stone head up above. You can't help but feel like it's going to fall on you, even though that seems really, really unlikely. But it's a quite oppressive presence until you get properly underneath it and pace along where all these pillars are. They've been sandblasted and thinned over time, almost like someone's put wood on a lathe and started to cut a chair leg, so they're kind of bowed and thinned. But you do find doors. A single entrance in the eastern wall of the visible part of the temple that sticks out from the sand. The doors here are made of ancient bronze. They sag on their hinges, but you can still, even through all the sandblasting, make out the intricate work that has gone into them. They're covered with glyphs and patterns.
I presume that Astrogod might fall over himself trying to get to it.
He's tempering curiosity with caution. He's quite happy for you lot to move ahead and clear the way.
With Simprino and Umbertino by my side, I'll just kind of nod my head like, come on, guys, let's check it out to everyone else. And I'll cautiously and slowly, so someone who really wants to get there first can outpace me, begin trudging towards the doors.
Okay. Is everyone else keeping up?
I'm keeping up. I'll be in the back with my bow.
Okay. And Caesora's moving up with them?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. It's going to take a bit of muscle to move the door open, but Lubertino and Simprino are more than willing. They wedge their shoulders up against the door and shove. There's a horrible screech of metal on stone, and there's sand underneath, sort of between the bottom of the door and the tiles. So it's a horrible scraping, scratching sound. And it finally opens up all the way. Only a small part of the desert sun from outside pierces the gloom. There's dust motes in the air. There's a dusty, musty, spicy smell hanging in the air.
Like a long vanished potpourri shop.
Yes.
Yeah.
A long vanished head shop. So this is a rectangular chamber. There's sort of paintings on the walls, more hieroglyphics, which Astrogard was kind of looking at. There are no doors here, but there is a gap, an archway in the northern end of the far wall.
Are there any
Just answer the
obviously
mail, you can
loose
send
flagstones or anything
Let
like
me call
that?
you back.
Where the doors are, some sand has blown in over the ages, but not a great deal. But there is a sort of shallow depression in the flagstones there. But otherwise, it seems to be largely intact.
Let's not step on that.
Does Astrogard need some time to decipher the door, the hieroglyphics? Are there perhaps any encoded warnings or entreaties?
Oh, it's your standard ancient curse boilerplate, really. Nothing to worry about.
Okay.
We're going in regardless, so.
Well then, I believe we should strike up some torches or light up the lanterns. I forget who brought what. We have a...
Yeah,
loins.
someone's got a lantern. Simprino lights a lantern and hoists it up on the standard. Okay. The light throws shadows about the room, and you're surprised. to see an old man huddled in the corner of this chamber.
So, surprised to say the least, I'd probably jump right out of my skin.
Yeah, he blinks at the light and sort of rummages around, finds a stick and sort of heaves himself up on it.
What the hell are you doing here?
He listens very carefully to what you're saying and sort of mumbles a bit, moving his lips. I'm a hermit. This is my hermitage. What are you doing here?
Sightseeing?
Sightseeing?
We're engineers from a faraway land come to study the work of the ancients.
Oh. Yes, likely story. He shuffles over towards you all, peers at you, strokes his beard.
Let me guess, his beard is down to his ankle.
It's a bit Catweasel-esque,
Yeah.
which no one outside of Britain will understand, but never mind.
Is that like an unkempt crazy person's beard?
Catweasel was a kids' show in the 70s about
Late 60s, early 70s.
about a magician and alchemist from from the Dark Ages. He drank a potion and woke up in the modern era.
Is that where I clip on a couple of your videos of the old wizard saying, "Oh, I'm a bit out of touch"? Is that
That's Hitchhiker's Guide, the TV series.
Oh, okay.
Catweasel was an alchemist, showed all sorts of things, and he was going to be burnt at the stake on the grounds of witchcraft. And for some apparent reason, his medallion took him into the future, and he ended up in the late 60s, early 70s in somewhere like Cornwall or that, and the rest is all history.
Yeah. Dimly remembered repeats.
I've got a couple of pictures of him. He looks like a proto Rick from Rick and Morty.
Yeah, I guess. Okay. Anyway, yeah, he comes over to you on his walking stick, peers at you curiously.
How long have you been here, my friend?
Oh, how am I supposed to mark time? Many days, many nights.
And when was the last time you had food and water?
Oh, there's water outside.
You call that water?
One makes do.
You almost suckered me to death. I'll offer my flask a ration.
He swirls the water and sniffs at it. Could you bring me some from the oasis?
No, I'm not going back there.
Well, we filled.
So what were you saying, Jared?
Well, which oasis are you speaking of? There were a few back there.
Just the one outside.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. Get me some water from there, and I'll answer all the questions you want.
Oh,
Why is it? And I'm going to look at him. I'll try and draw his eye over to me. Why is it you would send someone to the shore of that death pit?
Death pit? It's never tried to kill me.
What do you mean, it?
The oasis. You made it sound like it's some sort of monster or something.
And what about
Right.
your
call me
pet?
back in 5 minutes, Grim, okay?
Okay.
And what of your pet that lives in it?
I have no pet there. I did, however, buy off the creature with some snake venom.
Yeah.
I suppose that if you'd come in, you'd already dealt with it. It will make things less expensive in future. Been a while since I ate snakes.
Where'd you find snake venom?
There's snakes in this temple. They seem drawn to it for some reason. But they give a ready supply.
I'm confused. You say you bought it off with snake venom? How did you engage in a transaction with a pit monster?
I'd caught a snake, I believe. It's quite a long time ago. When it came for me, I threw the snake at it to try and make it go away and leave me alone. It ate it and then did leave me alone.
Do I have any way of making a roll to see how I feel about this person's truthfulness?
No. You're going to have to rely on your player instincts. Madrock has an ability that lets him do that.
That character sadly is not present or otherwise engaged. So, I'll. Oh, jeez. I'll say a couple of words in Ellislandic to our group. I wonder how much hotter it's going to be tomorrow than today. And I'll see. I'll try and read the old codger's face to see if he groks any of it.
Okay, can you make a perception roll, please?
No, I don't believe I would make it with a 17.
Okay, actually, just what is your perception?
Let me check. It is listed as 7.
No, you got no idea whether he's responding or not. It's just you don't detect any change.
I'll continue then to Yannick and the others. What's your reading on him? I fails my test.
Cesora remains uncharacteristically silent until Jason comes back.
What about Yannick? What do you think?
I think we screwed up the interrogation. So we didn't really ask questions, sequence questions in a way that would allow us to find out a lie, right? Because the story that he felt that we would have already dealt with the monster successfully by our very presence almost checks out. Almost. But it also sounds just as convincing that he was happy to send us to the pit to get killed by the thing. And that being said, though, I lean towards not trusting the guy because we had not told him that we killed the thing before he sent us to the pit. And then we made the mistake and gave away that we had already encountered the monster, which kind of put us in a situation where we robbed ourselves of the ability to get more information out of this guy. So I lean towards distrust, right? Because
it's fine.
throwing a snake at a monster story is rather implausible.
Okay.
And we have no way of actually testing that unless you have some lore roll you can make to know if monsters like this are going to actually like snakes, you know? Mm-hmm. Now, if I was to go one more level in, if this monster and the snakes are sort of drawn to this temple by the same entity, you know, are snakes something that an evil monster that is drawn to his, how do I say this? If there's a snake, bear with me. If snakes are considered holy in this religion, why would a monster want to eat snakes? That would be like a Hindi, like eating cows. On the other hand, are snakes considered powerful in this religion? And you know, eating a snake is like a good thing to do if you can get your hands on one. So I guess it comes down to like what snakes actually represent within the lore of this temple. I lean towards distrust though, because distrust. On the other hand, if there's a way to assess this guy's ability, if he even is horribly distrustful, what's the worst he can do?
Okay. The spell Grim Enslave. Mm-hmm. It's not a warlock. It's not a sorcerer spell, is it? I didn't see it earlier. I may have-
I can't remember. Just give me a sec.
Yeah. A Legion Baton allows one to cast Enslave for 3 MP.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a Warlock spell.
There's supposed to be a spell index somewhere.
I don't even know what level it is.
Creatures.
Enslave, 85, it says.
Okay.
Sorry about that, campers.
3.
Oh, yeah, it's a level 7 sorcerer spell. Okay. 30 meters. It's.
You're level 6 though.
But it says the baton allows one.
Yeah, I was just trying to keep track. I can't remember whether you were level 6 or 7. I guess.
I believe I'm only level. At least I think I'm only level 6. Let me double check.
What for Miss Grim? Just a quick
Yeah,
update.
it is. Okay.
Just an interrogation, really.
Oh, right.
So I was assuming the wand.
No,
would allow-
the rod will let you cast it even if you can't normally. So yes, you could cast it.
So I can. Okay, I was assuming it was just shorting the cost of it if you could already do it. But
No, I'd say it'll let you cast it as well
all right. So here, command spell.
because it self limits itself because it uses your magical attack versus their magical defense. So being able to cast it early, your magical attack would be lower, so it wouldn't be too powerful.
Okay. I will. I'll just nod my head at Yannick and indicate with my hand. Like I'll be back in just a moment. I think I need a little something stronger than just water. My nose is a bit stuffy, and I'm going to go back to our equipment area and root around for the staff, that baton.
Yeah, the baton. Okay, yeah, you take it down off the mule.
I won't be
I might not get back to
alone
you
with
this
this guy,
afternoon,
so
but like
while
for at least
I'm going to go
tomorrow
leave as
morning,
well, and
Yeah.
if I can.
I'm actually going to
Yeah.
go fill my canteen with some water from the lake.
Yeah, no
Presumably
problem.
it's safe.
Okay, thanks.
Oasis, I
thanks,
should
Michelle.
say.
Bye.
Yeah. It still looks a bit mucky for your liking, but you've probably got an empty water bottle from your travels, so you can fill that. Are you going to take it back to him,
Yeah, I mean, when John, what's your character's name again?
Carradine?
Carradine. I mean, when Carradine,
Carradine. Yeah.
when Carradine returns from the wagon, I'll go back in with him.
Okay. So the hermit sort of starts sniffing the air when you come back in with the water and hobbles over towards you. You have water for me?
Yes, here you go.
Ah, much better. Not like that tasteless stuff you were offering before. He upends the water skin and drinks and drinks and drinks and drinks and drinks until it's dry.
While he's drinking,
Yeah.
I'll try timing my use of the baton to his last gulp or so.
Okay.
So he's fully and properly distracted, and I'll record it.
What's your magical attack?
It is 22.
Nice. Okay, roll d20, tell me what you get.
I rolled a 16.
Okay. Your efforts to control his mind seem to hit a rather disciplined and powerful mind that slips away from your control. But you guess if he is a hermit and he has been sat out here meditating for years, then that would make sense.
It would make sense, but would I be able to sniff out or sense if that is the protection of a disciplined mind or of someone who is weaving magic into a special mental defense?
You'd have to cast your magical detection type stuff to do that.
Okay, thank you. I would imagine I was totally expecting that to work, so my body language would probably betray like surprise or shock or even befuddlement, so it would be clear for all to see that whatever I wanted to do with that baton didn't work. And
Yeah.
everyone knows what the baton does, as far as I'm aware. At least the characters on paper do, as opposed to.
Yeah. It's all gone a bit wrong.
So I'll just
I'll
kind of sit there for a moment, kind of shocked, and I'll wait for the next handful of folks to speak or engage while I recover.
So he hands you back the empty water bottle. Thank you. Delicious.
I'll do my best not to show my reaction.
Well, since you did me a favor, I'll do you one. If you're planning on pressing deeper into the temple, I'd think twice. There have been tomb robbers and bandits here before. When one of them touched the double bronze doors deeper into the complex, he just burned away into nothing. So if I were you, I'd stay away from those.
Thank you for the warning, but how do you know that happened?
I was here.
They allowed you to tag along at their feet as they penetrated this complex, and you saw them burn up in front of the door, did you?
It's just round the corner, through the arch. They thought me harmless and useless and old, so they didn't bother killing me. I didn't really have anything for them to steal, save my begging bowl and my stick, and I don't think they'd have gotten much use out of that. He hobbles back to his corner and folds up into his rags. Yeah, leave the doors alone.
Do you have a name, Franklin, to remember you by?
Sorry, you're a bit too quiet.
Do you have a name to remember you by, friend?
Does he actually have a name?
Hermit.
Hang on.
Give it you.
Kermit could actually be like an Egyptian name, just saying.
Yeah.
Kermit.
Kemet.
Yes, Kemit or Kemit. There we go.
Kune. Call me Kune.
Kune.
So, now what? He's returned to his corner. It doesn't seem.
now
His order? What are we going to do?
Let's pass on to the next. Let's pass on to the next room, and let's sort of tie the door. Ooh, is there a door, or is it just an open passageway?
It's just an open archway through to the next chamber.
Yeah, I mean, we need to think up some way to know that to know in advance if he's following us. It could just be as simple as checking back every so often to listen. But for the most part, I'm inclined to not worry.
I'm good.
But
How are
I just
you?
want to make sure when we come back, we don't have a nasty surprise. Because if I was an evil hermit, because this guy is clearly touched, if I was a weirdo hermit, my business model would be to
Maybe.
just
Oh,
rob
I
Tomb
personally
Raiders when they come back.
Wasn't probably the one
You know.
submitting it.
Yeah, let them do all the work.
Into it.
So at the very least,
Well, do you have the
at the
patience
very
to
least,
break
I
it down?
support
Sorry.
not delving to exhaustion, and just
This is 7. 1 second.
I don't know. I mean,
And
whatever
Doyle
you
is
can do to,
DOYLE, and then
because I'm getting
James
I'm getting the
JEAN
sense that
or
either
GENE.
I'm imagining things, but I'm
Okay,
getting the
great.
sense either
One moment.
that there's a little more than meets the eye with this guy. So I don't want to fight him if it's unnecessary. That's the best I can say. Also, somebody who can shrug off a mind attack and then just not be mad at you.
Oh,
You know,
geez.
someone who can
You know,
drink snake,
is it-
like, demon
Is
water
it
or
an
whatever,
name
and just
authorization
yum yum.
number?
Like his story only half
So my
adds up.
name is on the provider login app
So,
name,
anyway,
but I
I guess what I'm saying is that the first door we find, we should
So
we
it
should
was probably someone from
we
the
should spike.
team.
if we
might
can,
have
to
done
keep
it.
him from following us. Otherwise, just press on. And I'll stay in the
So I
back,
think
and every
it's
so often, I'm
because
just going to
we
check to
have David
listen
Harbour
for
has
noises
an-
behind
or,
us.
Sorry, this
Yeah.
station-
Okay, so you all pass through to the next chamber, and Semprino lifts up the standard with the lantern on it, up quite high. This is a courtyard. There are 2 sets of bronze double doors on the western wall. There's a multitude of pillars arranged in 3 sides of a square. And great big stone carvings of sort of men with the bodies of lions and wings. There's a gigantic one on the rear wall, closing off much of it, and a much smaller one of a woman with wings and a lion's body opposite it, sort of making the top part of the square of pillars. In the southeastern corner, there are 3 wooden doors, one after another.
Are we within, let's say, calling from the elevators in an apartment building to the end of the corridor, like that distance in the stonework hallways from the beggar?
Yeah, you're not that far from him at all.
So I wouldn't have to use a high-pitched yell, but if I just kind of projected my voice, I could say,
Yeah.
Kune, are these the doors?
You hear shuffling, and he pokes his head round the corner. Yes, those bronze doors. Don't touch them. It'll burn you away.
Sure.
But the doors you
sure.
said were wood, so now I'm confused.
Yeah, no,
No,
problem. Yeah,
the
feel free
doors
to
in
come
the
back
western
with any
wall,
other
there's
questions.
2 sets of
Totally
double
fine.
bronze doors.
So,
One at the northern end of the
you.
room, one at the southern end of the room, but both on the western wall. On the southeastern corner of the wall, there are 3 wooden doors, one after another, like there's 3 cells in a row, something like that.
Gotcha. All right, sorry, but what direction did we come to the room from?
You came in from the east.
I wonder if Astrogard has any way of dating the writing and inscriptions on the staff to the supposed, I guess, era of the folks who lived in this pyramid. Is it of the same dialect, so to speak?
Ritual artifacts were used for centuries in the ancient empires, so it could be contemporary.
You probably speak the ancient language better than anyone else here, I would presume, yes?
One doesn't like to toot one's own horn, but yes.
Well, then ideal. Take the staff, fluff up your collar a bit, and command the doors open. Stand like you mean it. Order them open. Here you go. I'll give it the staff.
He laughs, takes the staff, wanders over to the first set of doors, and calls out open and variations on commands to open in the ancient, what was it, Kukaradian? The ancient Egyptian analog. But the door remains stubbornly shut. Well, that didn't work.
Well, I guess we can go home. I'll just give him a wink.
Perhaps the trick is not to physically touch the doors. Or there may be a way around through the wooden doors. He didn't say anything about the wooden doors.
Yeah. So bear with me. I'm sorry to make you repeat yourself, but
It's
now
okay.
I'm writing things down.
Yeah.
We came in here through the east.
From the east, yeah.
From the east. The bronze doors, there's 2 double set of doors, meaning
There's-
one big.
Yeah, so there's 2 sets of double doors.
Right.
One at the
the
northern end
west.
of the room, one at the southern end of the room. Both on
Gotcha.
the western wall.
Right. And then the 3 wooden doors are
In the
In the-
southeast.
southeast.
And they're along the wall, like 1, 2, 3, one below the other, like it's opening into cells or chambers.
Is this a square room?
No. This courtyard
Okay.
area with the pillars is a rectangle, but if you
Right.
include the entry chamber and the cells, it would be a square.
Okay. So I guess I'm just asking if those 3 doors are on the east wall or the south
They're,
wall.
they're on the eastern wall.
Okay, cool. All right, so sort of back the way we can. And
Yeah.
then there were notable statues, but I'm going to take a closer look at the lady statue.
A sculptor has spent an inordinate amount of time getting her breasts exactly right. But she does still have the body of a lion and sharp pointed teeth. The wings don't make any sense to you. They don't look like bat wings or bird wings or anything particularly familiar.
Are there any hairline fractures, or anything that would make me think something could move?
No, it looks to be in pretty much perfect condition. There's a few cracks, but they look like they were deliberate ones. Whatever mason put this together created it in pieces that were then brought here and put together using sort of peg and hole construction.
All right, let's check out those wooden doors. I'll check out the. I'll listen at the northernmost wooden door.
Okay. You hear nothing.
All right, are you guys with me? All right.
Absolutely. Check each door before we open them, right?
Yeah. All right. So I'll listen at the other 2 as well.
Okay. You don't hear anything from either of them.
Okay. I'll return back to the northernmost door, and can I tell if it would be a push or a pull door?
It's a push door.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna quietly open it.
Okay. You ease it open. The wood is like completely perished. It's dust and dead beetles and things fall out of it as you move it. It's barely got any structure left to it, so like bits are flaking off it as you open it. It opens out into a small chamber, perhaps a devotional chamber. It's hard to tell. There's extremely small hieroglyphics written all over the walls, and there's a paper-thin circle of gold on the far wall.
Can anybody make sense of these high word pictures?
Yes. Astrogard sort of sticks his head in, and so you've got a light in there. Prayers, so it would seem. Prayers to their sun goddess.
Interesting. What's is there? Can you recite one of those prayers for us?
Probably not a good idea.
Fair enough. All right, let's check out and that's it for this room, right? Do you guys want to like pilfer this gold leaf?
No. Let's not desecrate the temple.
Not until our way out.
Yet.
All right, let's check out the second wooden door, the middle wooden door.
Before we do that, this is internally. What possible reason would Astrogard have for not wanting to say any of those prayers out loud? Just it's a spooky place, or
if it's
one
just an
sorcerer to
evil,
another might.
if it's an evil religion, he doesn't want to draw the attention of a evil god.
If you want to know, you can always just ask him.
Well, I'm just wondering what would make sense given the nature of magic, and if sorcerers have certain trade talk, they only talk with each other, and anyway. Because I don't know the Dragon Warrior setting overly well. I haven't had the pleasure to explore it. I'm just wondering if that would be unusual or if that's perfectly characteristic.
So there's a lot of superstitions. It makes sense from that point of view. Why would you say a prayer to another god?
Right.
Thing?
See, that's my own real world blinders coming into play. Then I didn't even superstition is enough for me right there. That's enough.
Okay. The second door opens, almost falling apart in your hands in the same way. Slumped against the east wall are 2 desiccated corpses, completely dried out. but perfectly preserved. So they're kind of jerky mummies, I guess. They're dressed in the old, dried-out, dusty remnants of leather armour, which looks like it's been cut by a sword in several places and charred. There are old but serviceable swords, javelins, and shields laying around, along with a bunch of coins.
Go ahead, John.
You go first.
Looking carefully for tripwires and seeing none, I'll pick up the coins.
Okay. It's about 20 silver coins, thereabouts. Quick look at the coins. Looks like they were minted about 50 years ago.
Are they local coins or are they overseas Crusader coins?
They're a mix of different coins from different countries. So a traveller or an adventurer or a pirate might have this amount of scattered different coinage.
The armor cuts, with the combined experience of us here, including Semprino and Umbertino, do the cuts look like they came from weapons of the same steel or iron as theirs, or from a different material, or from axes? Like, can anyone kind of forensically examine their wounds?
You got tracking. You've got experience with magic. You've run into things. You believe the wounds were cut by a magical sword that also charred and cauterized the flesh as it was cutting.
Wow. Okay. Now, you mentioned there were two bodies here, but you said serviceable shields, swords, and javelins in numbers for two people? Or for
enough for three people.
3 people. Okay. So I wonder, either the third person died somewhere else, or maybe turned on these two, or some other non-paranoid idea.
Or some old man at the foot of the pyramid. What stays in the temple stays in the temple.
Well, an attack like that, right, with a flaming weapon against these folks, if the old fellow heard them sizzle up in front of the bronze doors or watched them, he may have heard this little bit of I guess melee. So should one of us ask him? Maybe call out to him, like, how about these two, Gov? You know.
What type of armor are they wearing, Grim?
What type of
Leather.
armor? Did you ask what type of armor?
Yeah, do they have a specific style?
Brigandine.
Oh, so they're brigands then.
No, not necessarily, though that's where the name comes from.
That was a pun. You do realize that, yes?
That's not a pun. That's etymology.
Oh, okay. It was punny. It was pun adjacent.
Pun adjacent.
I think what Jay might have meant was, is it Crusader style armor or local style armor or a hodgepodge of crow's mail?
It's not local style. It could have belonged to peasants on the Crusades, but the coin dates would seem to suggest it's before that. It's continental armor.
Okay, thank you.
Boiled and waxed leather.
I'll then intone the same way to the old timer. Kune, you there?
Yes.
How about these two really old ones with all the choppy burn bits?
Not that old, I don't think. Same bunch as the man who burnt himself on the door.
Oh, all right. Thank you. In a much lower voice than I'll say to my compatriots here. If the fellow burnt himself on the door, he either all crisped up, including his magical flaming sword, or something else is afoot.
Do I remember Kune having a weapon on him?
Just his stick.
Just a start.
So let's well, I guess try the third door here.
Okay, you have another listen and ease it open. There's nothing inside here. It's just another near enough identical prayer chamber.
What about Kune's musculature? Was there anything? Obviously, he said he's a hermit. He presented. Was he a skinny, shriveled up, old fellow, or was he surprisingly jacked, for example, for a hermit?
He was very, very scrawny, but also muscular. He kind of looked like knotted rope.
Kind of muscles that a warrior might have, a fencer, a swordsman, or am I just going totally off the deep end?
A hard worker, like a peasant, maybe, or a
right, farmer's forearms. Just
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I mean, he's very thin. There's not much spare fat on him, but there's not that much muscle either, and his joints are all big, like knotted ropes.
Did you say there was picture glyphs on each of the pillars as well?
There's writing everywhere on everything.
Oh, ask Asgard if you can translate briefly what these pillars are saying.
Seems to be recounting the deeds of ancient kings. Must be the bloodline. It's all very tedious, battles and buildings and that sort of thing.
So who's the bitch then? Who's she?
I have no idea. I think that's their local version of a sphinx, so that would be an androsphinx for the male and a gynosphinx for the female.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, we can go outside and look at that big statue to see if there's any similarities. Otherwise, we can try pushing these doors open without touching them.
I can do that in your mind.
Or, well, I mean, do we have anything? I mean, if I look at these bronze doors, let's narrow it down. Let's say the bronze door in the north, the set there. If I looked at that, is it obvious if it's a push or pull?
No, they're flat, I guess, but yeah. So I guess they must be push doors.
Okay.
The one in the south has a stylized skull embossed on it, along with all the hieroglyphics. The northern one has a swirling pattern that vaguely looks like two human-shaped bodies fighting with each other, and then again, lots and lots of hieroglyphs.
Do any of them have pressure pads?
You haven't noticed any yet.
That's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for any
Okay,
like
make
traps.
a trap detect roll then.
First one. Side, west side, west side. What's side again?
Psychic talent.
Psychic
Give me your stats.
Psychic. First one is 9.
That's I only need you to roll once.
Okay.
You don't sense any traps on the doors, which is weird because the old guy said
No,
there were.
on the floor, because you said that when the guy pushed him, he got fried. So I'm like actually looking on the floor.
No, nothing there either. Not even any scorch marks.
Yeah, he might have been bluffing.
Bluffing? He's an eccentric old footpack called Colin. What do you expect?
If we can hold a moment, I may be able to try using some magical energy to open up the doors. At least I could give it a go before we risk any kind of charring event, if the old man's story is true. Anyone object? Okay, I will try invoking the spell Portal. It's a rank 1 spell. I can force or hold a door with strength 16.
Okay. Right. So spend the magic point.
Yes, marked.
You utter the invocation, and as you start uttering it, Kune appears in the archway, Says, no, don't. Do you finish the spell?
Well, I presume I will lose the magic point if I do. Yes.
Yep.
Yes, I'll not finish the spell. I'll let the magic slip away and let it unravel, and then just kind of stand back and look over to him. What?
It would have killed you as surely as if you'd touched it.
How do you know?
I have been here a very, very long time. I am very, very old, and I have seen many try to rob this tomb, and none have gotten past this chamber.
From his body language or whatnot, how does he impress us? I buy his story from what you just portrayed. But
you don't really have any abilities, so you're just going to have to go on my acting and your perception.
Okay, that works then. Okay. Thank you for the warning.
Okay, he stays in the archway, watching you all cautiously.
I need to take a break for a moment or two to let my little dog out. He's in need of a bit of time. I'll be back momentarily.
Okay. I'll see if the others want to try anything.
I'll ask our eccentric friend, where does the other door go to? And I point to the opposite door.
So far as I know, both of them are trapped.
You said one got fried.
Yes.
One door.
But the doors look so similar, then surely it must be the case.
How can I tell if he's telling the truth or telling a
You can't without magic or Madrock's human perception skill.
bollocks? I can always like, no, I can always like plant him on his arse and then sit on his shins and just like get a rusty dagger and just like start scraping ever so slightly in his holes of these.
Torturing people, they'll just tell you what they think you want you to hear. So yeah. But you didn't sense any trap, any danger, any threat from either of the doors. But then they could be magically screened.
True.
You've examined the pillars. Astrogard is still reading them. They didn't seem to have anything particularly special. The statues bucked tradition and didn't come to life, and seemed to have been put together using ordinary masonry techniques, albeit advanced ones from an ancient civilization. You've checked the 3 chambers. There were the bodies, but not a great deal else.
I was asking our eccentric friends. You said you were down here for so long, being a hermit, right?
Yes.
And these people who came in here, they were looking to pillage this place, right?
Correct.
And how do you know they were here to pillage the place? Did you speak to them?
I spoke to them. They asked me questions. I couldn't tell them much about the interior.
What language did they speak in, my friend?
The same as you.
So they basically spoke in Icelandic.
No, because you switched languages. So what was he talking in? Oh,
Well,
Astrogard has been translating back and forth for the most part, but he seems to have a few words of Icelandic.
Okay. And how many people have been down here since you've been here just recently?
What do you mean by recently?
Well, you knew that there was 2 in that room there, and I point to the room where the cadavers were.
Yes.
And then you said that one guy got fried by the double doors. We're not sure which one.
That's correct.
But how many of them were down here? How many came down?
There were 3.
There were 3. And the third one got fried by the door,
Yes.
which you can't remember which one.
No. But I suspect both are deadly.
How long ago was it since these three came down here? How many
Oh.
days, weeks, months,
I,
years?
I couldn't tell you. I don't track the passage of time.
So how did you actually manage to survive in pure darkness with no food, no water, no substance? Sorry about that. Substance.
There was water in the oasis. There have been
Yeah.
snakes to eat. There have been beetles. The occasional traveller. Those bandits had rations, I seem to recall.
Right. Well, that oasis tried to sucker me to death. And I can't believe you drank what it was.
It
Sounded fine.
took snakes from me and gave me water.
So you offered it snakes for water in return.
I gave it snakes and it didn't attack me when I gathered water.
So,
I did
Was it
come here
any-
for solitude.
well, sorry for asking you 20 questions, Grandad, but it's got to be done, you know? Before these three came down here, who else has been down here? Just these three?
There have been others, of course.
Okay. What did they look like?
You're asking me to recall things deep, lost in my memory. I couldn't possibly remember. People like you. Perhaps you've wasted your time. The only thing you'll be able to gather here is knowledge.
No. I've not wasted my time, and that is my friends here, my brothers and sisters.
Yeah.
Right.
So, is there anything else in this room? Like,
So the big carving of the Andra Sphinx, the small carving of the Gyna Sphinx, the two doors, the three chambers you've been in. You sort of retrace your steps and go back over everything.
yeah, all right. So that wooden door. You said it's pretty crumbly, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna rip it off of its hinges. I'm as much of the door as I can possibly get.
Yeah. Yeah, it just crumbles away. It's been eaten away by beetles and
So
dried
I
out.
So I can't really get a good board out of that, can I?
No, you can get a chunk of rotting, crumbling wood.
Yeah. Okay. So even the edges, though, even the door frame itself is sort of.
The frame is stone. I mean, there's the swords that the bodies had.
Yeah, there's javelins too.
Wait. If I remember correctly, there was boards outside, correct?
There was what outside?
Boards, planks. You said there was boards and planks outside.
No, I said there were pavings, but there are trees.
Right. Well, I mean, there's javelins.
Yeah.
All right. So there's like 3 javelins there.
Yeah. The wood of the javelins doesn't seem as perished.
Right. All right. So I'm gonna take my rope. I'm actually going to. Are they like flimsy?
They're quite light, but they're strong.
Yeah. All right. So I'll tie 3 together, like a little fash,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna say, and the northern door. I'm gonna push it open. Fuck it.
Okay. So you move over to the northern door with these sticks tied together. Kane says, "No, don't! You'll die."
I'm sure I will.
My mom called me earlier and she was like,
Okay. You shove the ends of the javelins against the doors. They swing open quite easily. These doors seem to be intact. And you don't die. However... oh, good. John's back. Just in time. However, his cry of alarm turns into a bellowing roar that seems to shake the whole temple. Dust falls from the ceiling. He smacks his staff against the floor. There's a blinding flare of light, and he's replaced by a tall, like 7 foot tall, bronze-fleshed man. His hair is now flame, and he's wielding a gigantic flaming sword. He shrieks again and moves to the attack. The grand entrance means he doesn't get surprised, though. Right. Cesura, you're fast enough to react before this thing.
I'm going to sweep at his left leg and parry the right.
Okay. Make an attack at -3.
6.
Roll to penetrate armor.
11.
Roll damage.
8.
8.
Yeah.
Okay. Your magical sword carves into his bronze flesh. He doesn't bleed, but fire spurts out of the wound. He whirls upon you and strikes out with his sword. What's your defense?
Magic defense or just defense?
Just defense.
11.
He smites you with this flaming sword. Armor?
Armor factor 3.
3. Okay. Where did my D10 go? There it is. Straight through your armor. And you take 11 hit points of damage.
F me. Jesus.
Doesn't that put you on 0 now?
No, I used some of that hashish thing, remember?
Yeah, so you were on 14. You took a whole bunch of damage.
I'm down to... I've just taken 11 there.
Yeah.
So
I'm pretty
11
sure.
away from 14, so that's me down to 2.
Okay. I didn't think you were fully healed. I thought you were only healed up to 11.
No.
Okay. Right. Okay, so the flaming sword bashes into you, cuts deep through your armor, which starts to knit itself back together again, and leaves a searing burn wound in your side. Yannick.
All right, I'll cast Silent Warrior.
But I feel like
Looks like I can cast 2 spells. Do I have to sort of announce them both?
Only some of the spells you can cast at the same time as doing something else. You can attack and cast.
I don't know.
Okay. My plan would be to cast Silent Warrior twice. Is that doable?
Be pulling that out of
No, I think it has to be magic and something else. So you could attack and cast Silent Warrior potentially.
Yeah.
On the page,
I wonder
you can see it says to cast 2 spells per round.
Carrie.
Does it? Oh yes. Or attack and cast. That's why I'm getting confused. So yes, you could cast it twice.
All right, so I'll cast it once.
I'm assuming
Okay.
we have to carry
Roll d20.
And I rolled above 18, so that's just a straight up miss. That's too bad.
Yeah. His defense is 3, so that'll be taken off its attack. So you need 15 or under with Silent Warrior.
Right. Well, the first one's a miss anyway.
Yeah.
And I'll roll. I'll try again.
Okay.
Right.
So that's another magic point, and make another roll.
Okay, that's an 11.
So that's a hit.
Okay.
Okay.
Johnston.
Roll to penetrate its armor. So it's
Okay.
D10, I think.
I rolled
don't
an
see
8.
it. Are you in the red
Yep.
still?
And D10 damage.
Can you finalize it? It's
That's
like
a
not
3.
even on the appointment desk yet.
Okay. So right, you stand fast, utter your incantations. 2 spectral warriors appear out of the darkness, one striking in one direction, one striking in another, sort of moving across it. More flames start to spurt out of his body, but he still seems intact and able to fight. Kerridan.
I will unleash a shadow bolt on him.
Okay. Spend the magic points.
Yes.
What's the speed on that?
The speed is 14.
Okay, you need 9 or under to hit.
All right. Wish me luck here. 1.
Crit. Double damage.
Oh, that's it says 2d6 plus 10 HP.
Okay.
Is that 46 plus 20, or is it just
It'll be
the
46
dice?
plus 20, yeah.
Oh my god. 4 4 is 8, and then 3 is 6, 14, 24, 34 points.
Okay. You call upon the blackness of the void, and a streaking shadow of dark energy erupts from your hands and strikes this flaming being full on. It just sort of melts away in the sheer intensity of the blast, leaving nothing but a couple of embers to float down to the floor.
All right. Spend my last.
Well, let me just.
Assuming this thing is destroyed, I'll spend my last magic
but
point
that,
to heal
you know,
1d4
it's just like
points of
console
damage to
plus
John.
this. It's
You're
like,
pretty
who
badly
knows how
hurt,
long it's
right?
gonna take to get one of these.
No, I'm okay, but Jay is bad. I must answer the door. My mom is.
Sorry. Yeah,
Oh,
Jay
well,
is
yeah.
badly hurt. All right, let me heal him.
Yeah, because I feel like
All right,
I feel
that's
like all
3
you
points.
can do is
Okay. So, Jay, you keep track of that.
I'm back up to 5.
Right.
I walk up to his remains. Did you say he's now nothing but glue?
Nothing but a couple of embers.
So that means his sword's gone as well then.
Yes.
Let me guess, that was a vision. I look at our guide.
Another demonic entity, I believe, or a djinn, as the locals call them.
Yeah, the Jin, same thing. Oh,
But the door's open, and there was no trap.
no, the trap was that old guy. Hence why the guy got tried. So basically, the trap was basically the old man. As soon as the door was from someone not off the sect or cult or whatever made this place, as soon as that door was tampered in any way, he would come back and check what's within this temple, whatever you want to call it.
I don't know that a creature counts as a trap, but as you will.
I thought a lot of strange things in my time. Whew, I definitely need a vacation after this. Mental, but,
Perhaps you should let one of the others take the foremost position, then.
No, it's not that. I'm just like saying, but I'm used to like scouting up ahead and then coming back and telling what I find. And so Elaine then does the plotting and scheming, and then Becca, wherever she may be, she used to add her little input. Keldon adds her input, and Yannick adds his. Oh.
it, but
What'd you say?
you know, it's a whole.
He was just talking with
I'm just-
Astrogard.
I'm just saying that basically I'm used to scouting up ahead, getting a quick recon, then coming back and saying, right, this is what's up ahead.
Well, we seem to have dealt with this creature, but I suggest you let someone else take the four, Cesora.
Yeah, well, quite happy to let someone else take the floor. Who do I think? I think Yannick would be ideal.
Yannick seems the next most competent warrior, for all Caridon's magical might.
And I'm not really a wizard anymore without magic points, so I guess it's me on lead. Here we go.
Okay.
Sword and shield.
What's that?
Okay, with the others in tow,
Oh, you're fine.
you make your way through the first set of doors.
No. It's. I hope
There's
it's
a
quick.
long, unlit passage.
Whatever.
The lamplight barely reaches all the way to the end, if at all. But as you move deeper, it gets lit.
Tomorrow.
On the southern side of this long hall, there are 5 slits, just wide enough for a large human to wiggle through. They're each about 2.5 meters apart, all along the south wall.
I'm sorry, but this was the northern
then
brass door that we went through?
Yes.
Was like,
Okay, so presumably it's
So, like,
possible that
Brad
these
team
little
was
slits
like,
could lead down to
okay,
whatever
we
led
can
to
look at
the
the memo.
southern brass
so
door,
they
right?
put
Yeah, it's
customer
possible.
service
Okay.
team on this
Um,
email, and then I was just like,
Would I have to go through
well,
this
I have
sideways?
someone on my team.
Well, the corridor's wide enough, but these slits you would have to sort of wiggle through, so you would have to go through sideways.
Yeah, so I'd be a little compromised. I kind of want to get to the end of this hall. And this hallway just goes on and on, right? Like beyond the light of our torch.
Yeah. But not too much further. It's maybe 40 meters long. So once you get an idea of how many side passages there are, these sort of crawlways, then you can get an idea of how long the passage is. Behind each of the slits, there's a statue. A gold-covered wooden figurine of a panther, a sort of mosaic skull, a flute made from a human bone, you think. Plates of precious metals that might be worth something. It seemed like they were possibly offerings, but not all of them seem to be there anymore. At the end of the passageway, there's a 3-meter-high statue of a warrior in ancient armor, wielding a big club, standing over a fallen body. There's an inscription on the bottom.
All right, Astral Guard. What does it say?
Just a sec.
I'm going to have to pick up ancient Tarbash or Tarakesh, or I forget what it's called.
Right. Yeah. So Astrogard moves to the fore, leans down, looks at the base of the statue. This is a depiction of Lord Guthron of the House of Org. This is the man whose temple, whose tomb this appears to be.
So this means we're getting close, yes? This is obviously the right place. Your research has been accurate to date.
It does mean this is the right place, yes.
That's fantastic news.
Now, do you want to take those metal plates or leave them for when we come back?
Well, they would be closer to the exit here. Do we really want to carry them all along with us? The treasure's your department. I'm here for the knowledge.
I mean, I'll check for traps. It looks safe. I'll stuff the stuff in my knapsack if it's not too heavy. Why not?
Yep.
If
Okay.
we have to run out of here, I'd rather have the stuff than go home empty-handed. Assuming this is a XP for treasure model, I never asked that question.
No, it's sort of standard amount of XP, variable, depending on the session, plus XP for monster kills. Shit, I'm not feeling too great. Would you mind if we wrapped up here for tonight?
Yeah, sure.
Is that okay?
That's
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah, it's been a weird few days. I think Jay, you were saying you haven't slept too well. I haven't slept too well either.
Yeah.
See, I was just going to mention that. You said on one of your blog posts that you had a bad night, or you didn't
Yeah,
sleep.
I was up stupid late that night. I just couldn't sleep. It's just you get the humidity, and then you get the change in air pressure, and then you can't sleep.
I used to get migraines from air pressure changes.
And then the cat was sick at like 5 o'clock this morning, so that didn't help. Help either. All right.
I'm sorry you're having an off day.
Yeah, it's okay. It happens.
Dog's happy.
All right. Sorry about that, guys. I'll dish out the XP to your characters, and we'll continue for whoever can make it on
Saturday.
on Saturday.
Saturdays, not Thursdays.
Days. Yes. Must brain good. All right.
What
Cheers for
did it
watching.
get? Okay, good night.
Sorry, it was a short session.
That's okay. I'm here in southern Ontario, and we hit 30 degrees Celsius before the humidex, which is about 90 Fahrenheit. So.
Oof.